Welcome to the Bridal podcast, your home for expert wedding planning advice. Today we're talking about a list of commonly forgotten items at weddings. So as you're packing all of your belongings to take to your wedding venue, double check this list and just make sure there's a few things that you remembered. It's just a list of things that I see that are forgotten here and there over years of planning weddings. So first we can talk about printed items. You're going to want to be able to have your photographer take a picture of your save the dates and your invitations and just really all of your stationery. So make sure you have save the dates, invitations, programs, menus, place cards, cake bags, or any other printed favor, and thank you notes if it's a suite that matches, and bring those items with you the day of. Of course, you might have several programs and several menus, one for each guest, but when you're doing the save the dates and your invitations, don't bring your only sentimental copy. Make sure that you order extra so that way if it gets left at the venue or rained on or lost, you know that it's not the only copy that you have, so you're not heartbroken. As far as ceremony items, some things that I see missing often are VIP seating decor. I'll be honest, everyone knows don't sit in the front row, but if you have a super large family and you're planning on using the second row for VIPs, you're going to need some reserve signs for that. A lot of times I also see flower girl petals and baskets forgotten. Maybe it was a miscommunication with the florist and they provided petals but no basket, or it just wasn't put on the order altogether. Cushions, if the bride and groom plan on kneeling at any time during the ceremony, can be an important item that's often forgotten. And believe it or not, something I see forgotten a lot are the wedding rings and vows. So make sure you double check your list, but you definitely need to have the really important items like that. On to the reception. Something I see weddings missing often is a seating chart printout. So if you have one of those cute Pinterest seating charts, that's adorable, but at the same time, it can cause a bottleneck into your reception. So give your wedding planner an alphabetized list of your seating chart so that way they can help with the flow of people and direct them to the correct table. Also, place cards can be important to help your guests find their seats without issue. And then a lot of times for reception, I see possibly tables for vendors are missing. So maybe you didn't communicate with your DJ about whether or not they need a table and linen. Or maybe you didn't communicate effectively with your caterer about how many food tables they need and you don't have a table for their beverage station. Make sure you check with each on-site vendor and make sure they have what they need, either because they're bringing it with them or you planned ahead and rented it for them already. Next, bridal party items. It's, of course, hair and makeup items. You might forget your favorite lipstick or something like that. So make sure that you double check your makeup bag. But sometimes people are so excited to get there. I've seen them forget their dress. I've seen people forget undergarments, shoes, garter, and jewelry. So we recommend packing everything a day or two before, going through all of your attire, and then keeping it all in one place. Let it travel all in one car. Don't wait until the last minute because you'll definitely forget something then. Grooms and groomsmen. My goodness, if they're going to forget anything, they're going to forget everything. So I've seen groomsmen come in completely empty-handed with no tuxedo, no cummerbund, no cufflinks, and no shoes and no shirt. So make them double check their items as well. What I usually do is tell the groomsmen to go out to lunch together and have the most responsible person in the group say, hey guys, let's double check our bags and make sure we have everything we need before we start lunch. That way, if somebody forgot something, they've got time to go get it before lunch is over and then head on to the wedding venue. Next, commonly forgotten items for the cake table. Cake plates and forks, believe it or not. Sometimes when people are planning with their caterer, but their cake is coming from another vendor, they're not discussing china for the cake table because it's not something that the caterer is in charge of. But you're going to want to make sure that you have cake plates and forks and also that it matches. So I've seen some people switch to disposables, but if you're going to keep china, then you want to make sure that wherever your catering china is coming from, you've got cake plates and forks on that list as well. Another commonly forgotten item is a cake box. There's definitely going to be leftover cake. I 110% guarantee you that. get more than just a box for your cake topper. You need a box for leftover cake as well, and that's something that's not often brought to weddings. So you need to talk to your cake baker beforehand about bringing that, or you need to plan in advance to bring one and make sure it's large enough for a giant piece of cake to go in there. Also, the cake cutting utensils. Sometimes I just see it completely left off the list to the point where a lot of venues have one on hand and a lot of caterers will have one on hand because it's forgotten so often. Next is flowers and decorations. You want to double check before you leave your florist if you're doing a pickup order or if they're doing a drop off that you have every single item before they leave. Double check your count for your bride and bridesmaids flowers, corsages, and the boutonnieres, and anything else that falls under the category of people flowers, and make sure everybody has what they need. Then you're going to want to double check your count for the number of table arrangements, and then also make sure that you have a toss bouquet just in case that you plan on tossing your bouquet at the end of the night. If that one's forgotten, you can steal one from a bridesmaid if you have to, but making sure that it's dropped off with the florist is usually best. And then finally, the bar. A lot of times what we see forgotten at bar is cups. Very, very important. Ice, or not the ice was forgotten, but just there wasn't enough purchased. Another thing that we see forgotten is different types of mixers. So you want to be clear on what type of liquor you're serving and what mixers go well with it. And then also a wine cork. So you want to make sure that you have a cork bottle opener so you have everything you need to get into the alcohol for the bar. So another thing that can help you while you're planning ahead and packing all of your items is our emergency wedding day checklist, just to make sure that you have everything in your kit that you might need in case of an emergency. You can download this using the link below or find it on thebridalink.com. And for more expert wedding planning advice, follow us at The Bridalink.